At the prestigious international exhibition Wings India, the spotlight was not on Western giants, but on Russia's I-114-300 and Superjet 100. These upgraded aircraft achieved a technological feat. In record time, they completely eliminated foreign components, becoming the world's first aircraft in their class with a fully independent, domestically produced design. Could this breakthrough become the foundation for a new global aviation alliance, one capable of finally shaking the monopoly of Western corporations? In this video, we will analyze the path of urgent Russification of Russia's domestic aerospace industry and the historic success of its partnership with India, a partnership that began with the legendary Su-30 MKI. We will thoroughly examine why the unique technical characteristics of these Russian aircraft are ideally suited for India's large-scale UDAN program, and how a co-production strategy can provide both Russia and India not only economic benefits, but also genuine technological sovereignty in the skies. Imagine the largest air show in Hyderabad, Wings India. Hundreds of companies, the gleam of chrome, the roar of turbines. But why did crowds of experts and potential buyers freeze specifically in front of the Russian I-114-300 and Superjet 100? At first glance, they are just modern airliners, but the essence, as we know, lies in the details. Let's briefly look under the hood of modern aviation. Global aircraft manufacturing today is a giant assembly line. One factory makes the wing, another in a neighboring country makes the engine, a third makes the electronics. Take the famous European turboprop ATR-72 or the Brazilian Embraer E2. Do you think these are products of a single country? Far from it. Their heart, the engines, are American-made by Pratt & Whitney. The avionics, hydraulics, control systems, all of it is a complex web spanning dozens of nations. Even the ambitious Chinese Comac C919, which claims independence, still flies on General Electric engines from the USA. Ask yourself, what happens if, in this complex chain, one link decides to drop out? We got the answer in 2022. Before that, Russia was deeply integrated into the global market. The superjets flew with Franco-Russian engines and used Western components. It seemed convenient and efficient. But then, in an instant, the beautiful fairy tale of international cooperation fell apart. It turned out that this cooperation was nothing more than an illusion, or more precisely, a very powerful leash. As soon as Western countries pressed a political lever, the logistical chains turned into a noose. But here, our investigation takes an unexpected turn. While skeptics were predicting the collapse of Russian aviation, something incredible happened. In record time, Russia achieved full localization of its aircraft production. The upgraded Ilyushin 114-300 and Superjet 100 aircraft that arrived in India under their own power became the world's only planes in their class whose production is entirely concentrated within a single country. This is technological sovereignty in its purest form, a status that global powers only aspire to achieve. The stakes are rising. Russia has proven that it can build its own sky independently. However, is creating an independent aircraft enough for it to succeed on the global market? After all, production is only half the battle. Imagine you decide to open a small bakery. You buy the most expensive oven, hire the best pastry chef, and develop a recipe for a unique croissant. But here's the problem. Only one customer walks in all day. To cover the rent, salaries, and the cost of the oven, you would have to sell that poor croissant at an astronomical price. Would the customer buy it? Of course not. Now imagine a queue of 1,000 people. The price per bun drops and you make a profit.
The same principle applies in the aerospace industry, only here the stakes are measured in billions of dollars. It's called economies of scale. Russia worked a miracle by creating the fully independent Il-114-300 and Superjet 100. But now, engineers and economists face a cold, ruthless calculation. For these planes to be affordable for airlines and for tickets to be within reach of ordinary citizens, production must be large-scale, serial, enormous. If you build 2 or 3 planes a year for yourself, each one becomes literally golden. The costs of development, testing, and maintaining factories will simply crush the project under their weight. You might ask, how do Boeing and Airbus do it? The answer is simple. They sell their airliners to the whole planet, allowing them to lower the price per unit. But for Russia, under sanctions, many traditional markets are closed. This creates a dangerous dead end. The country needs the plane to fly, but flying it is too expensive because only one country is buying it.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the continent, India is grappling with its own problem. The government has launched a grand program called UDAN. Its motto is, "Let the common citizens of the country fly." India is a vast territory with mountains, deserts, and islands that are sometimes inaccessible except by air. They need hundreds of regional aircraft, right now. But Western alternatives cost a fortune, and more importantly, their production is far away. India doesn't just want to buy, it wants to follow the Make in India strategy. Do you feel the lines converging? Russia has a unique, independent product that needs production volume. India has massive demand and a desire to build its own, but lacks a ready-made technology of that level. It seems like a perfect puzzle, but in reality things are far more complicated. Between these two needs stands a wall of technological risks, political intrigue, and old habits. But imagine we've resolved the issues of political independence and even found the money for mass production. Does that clear the path to the skies? Not so fast. Another problem is the harsh reality of the ground, the very surface that often shatters the most ambitious aviation projects. Let's call it the last mile problem. To understand its essence, imagine the difference between a high-speed highway and a forest trail. Large modern airliners are like luxury cruise ships. They need perfect, multi-kilometer concrete runways, complex ground equipment, and greenhouse conditions. But what if your destination is a small town in the foothills of the Himalayas or a village in the Yakut tundra? Are you going to build a giant international airport there, costing the budget of a small nation? Of course not. That would be economic suicide. Here we encounter a paradox. India launched the UDAN program to connect the country, but the Western aircraft available on the market are real delicate flowers. The European ATR-72 or the Canadian Dash 8 are fine machines, but they require high-quality runways. Yet the UDAN program is dominated by small regional airstrips, where the runways are short and often unpaved.
Think about it. What's the point of a modern aircraft if it can't land where it's most needed? The Soviet AN-24 handled this task for decades, literally biting into unprepared airfields. But the lifespan of those aircraft is exhausted. They are becoming history. And here, a dangerous vacuum emerges. Western alternatives are expensive and demand perfect concrete, but flights are needed tomorrow. This is not just a technical issue, it is a matter of social stability. If India does not find an aircraft capable of operating in challenging conditions, the grand program of affordable flights will turn into a dusty folder of unrealized reports. The Russian I-114-300 appears to be the answer to this challenge. A takeoff run of just 750 meters, landing gear ready for unpaved runways, and a built-in boarding ladder that eliminates dependence on ground services. This is a true sky SUV. Do you think Russia is simply trying to save its aviation industry by pushing aircraft onto an old partner to survive under sanctions? If so, you are only seeing the tip of the iceberg. The real twist in this story is that Russia is doing what neither Boeing nor Airbus would ever dare to do. It is offering India not just a product, but a share in its technological sovereignty. Think about it. Western corporations always sell you a black box. You can fly on their planes for decades, but you will never know how they work inside, nor can you replace a single screw without the owner's permission. It's like renting a car forever without the right to even look under the hood. Russia, however, is changing the rules of the game. At the Wings India exhibition, a bold move was made. A contract was signed that not only sells finished aircraft, but opens the door to full-scale joint production of the Superjet and I-114-300 on Indian soil. Why would Russia voluntarily give away its secrets, which it so painfully rebuilt during an emergency localization drive? The answer lies in a strategy that has already changed the world once. In the late 1990s, Russia transferred the technology of its best fighter, the Su-30 MKI, to India's HAL Corporation. The result? Nearly 300 aircraft in service, massive investments in Russian design bureaus, and India's status as the most powerful aviation power in the region.
Now this golden formula is being transferred to civilian aviation, and that scares competitors the most. While other countries fight for the right to be clients, Russia and India are creating a new independent pole of power. But how exactly will this work in detail? How to turn complex blueprints into a functioning business that does not collapse under the weight of economic problems? We are diving into the deepest part of this scheme, where what experts call the point of no return for the global dominance of Western aviation giants is hidden. Let's delve deep into this partnership and take it apart piece by piece to understand why the alliance between Russia and India is not just a successful deal, but the birth of a new aviation reality. To grasp this, you need to stop seeing an aircraft as a beautiful metal bird and start seeing it as an extraordinarily complex economic and engineering algorithm. Why did the IL-114-300 become the trump card in negotiations? Picture a typical regional airfield somewhere in Rajasthan or at the foothills of the Himalayas. This is not the mirror-smooth concrete of Heathrow Airport. This is a short, often dusty runway with no expensive jet bridges or complex ground equipment. A European ATR-72 in such conditions feels like a city sports car on a dirt road. It's finicky and expensive to maintain. Takeoff roll of just 750 meters. To put that in perspective, that's nearly a quarter less than what most competitors need. Those extra 250 meters are the difference between a plane being able to land in a remote town or not. Add to that a built-in passenger staircase and the powerful TV-7117 ST-01 engines, specifically designed for extreme operating conditions. This isn't just engineering, it's mathematics of profit. Lower infrastructure costs mean cheaper tickets for passengers. But why would Russia give away such technology? This brings us to a win-win strategy tested for decades. Remember the story of the Su-30 MKI. Russia didn't just sell planes, it taught Indian specialists how to assemble them. As a result, India gained a powerful air fleet, while Russia received billions in investment, money that didn't sit idle but was channeled into creating next-generation aviation, like the Su-57 itself. Co-producing the superjets and IL-114s in India solves the scaling problem we mentioned earlier. When factories serve two vast nations, the production cost of each aircraft drops. This allows Russia to supply its domestic market with affordable equipment, while India implements its UDAN program, making flying accessible to millions of ordinary citizens. But the most important factor lies in the complete Russification of components. Unlike Western aircraft, where any political quarrel can halt the supply of a cheap chip and paralyze an entire fleet, the Russian-Indian product is shielded from external dictates. All spare parts, all software, all critical systems are contained within this alliance. This sounds like a perfect plan, doesn't it? But in any large-scale project, there is a secret ingredient, that key insight which explains why this collaboration has become inevitable right now and what is truly at stake for the global industry. Ready to learn the unexpected conclusion analysts drew while studying the signatures on the new contracts in Hyderabad? Have you ever wondered why Western aviation giants get so nervous watching Moscow and Delhi grow closer? After all, on a global market scale, a couple hundred regional aircraft isn't the biggest number. But the real insight here goes much deeper. It's not about the quantity of metal, but about a radical shift in the very philosophy of owning the sky. Let's be honest, modern Western aviation is a subscription economy. When you buy a Boeing or an Airbus, you don't become their true owner. It's like buying a smartphone that the manufacturer can remotely turn into a brick if they don't like your politics. They force their spare parts, their engineers, and their rules of the game on you. Russia and India, however, are the first in the world to attempt hacking this system. The main revelation is that this kind of cooperation isn't just trade, it's about building immunity to external pressure. Russia isn't just handing over blueprints to India, it's granting the right to technological self-determination. If this alliance sees things through, any country in the global south will see that you can fly modern airliners without asking permission from Washington or Brussels. This is the beginning of the end for the era of aviation colonialism. The stakes couldn't be higher. We are witnessing the creation of an alternative global aviation standard. But what will this new flight map look like in 10 years? Are you ready for the familiar sky leaders to soon find themselves playing catch-up? The outlines of a future that seemed like science fiction just yesterday are already visible on the horizon. Imagine the aviation market not as a closed club for the chosen few, but as a high-speed highway where new leaders replace old monopolists. The Russia-India partnership today is just the first stone in the foundation of a magnificent future edifice. If we're discussing regional airliners now, then tomorrow the agenda will include joint serial production of fifth-generation Su-57 fighters. That's a quantum leap, comparable to moving from assembling rugged off-road vehicles to building supersonic race cars. Russia and India aren't just building planes, they are forming a powerful technological hub for the entire global south. Why should countries in Africa, Asia, or Latin America risk falling victim to Western sanctions when they can get sovereign technologies from a proven alliance? Signing contracts at the Wings India exhibition isn't just another deal in the history of two nations, it's the beginning of a new era of aviation sovereignty. The upgraded IL-114-300 and the Superjet 100 are just the first swallows on this path. The combination of advanced Russian technologies and India's immense industrial potential creates the very force capable of rewriting the rules of the game in the global sky. Now, the Air SUV and the modern regional airliner will become the backbone for connecting millions of people, making flights accessible and, most importantly, protected from any political whims. This partnership clearly demonstrates the future of aviation belongs to those who choose true independence and technological integrity.
Subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon, and be sure to watch our other videos about aviation. There, we break down the hottest news and secret technologies that are changing the world right now. The future has already taken off, and we invite you on board.